Yo guys, my name is Phoenix and welcome to a new video. A lot of new cards have been put on the official website, so I will not review them in detail this time, because I don't want this video to be too long, but I will be releasing a full set review in like 2 weeks. But let's not waste any time and start with Fairy Driver. 4 play points, 3/3 follower, Forestcraft follower, that whenever an allied fairy comes into play, give it +1/+0, and storm until the end of the turn. Interesting card. In a deck with a lot of fairy generation, this can lead to some nice combos, but apart from that I don't see too much potential in this card. Magical Fairy Lilac. Forestcraft follower, 1/4, with a clash effect that destroys the enemy follower, and then you remove the clash ability from this follower. I actually like this card. The 1/4 body is not bad, and the best thing about this follower is that it will always trade with at least one card. The clash effect happens before the fight, so it will destroy an enemy follower and you will still keep the 1/4 body. Good when played on curve, and good even when you evolve it, to take a favorable trade. Abby, the Axe Girl. It's a Forestcraft 2 play points 2/2 with a clash effect that gains +2 attack until the end of the turn. This follower can trade well with 2/3 3-drops, and that's pretty impressive for a 2-drop. Usually stats are not all that matters in Constructed, so I don't know how much play this card will see, but it will see some testing in my opinion. Kindly Trent. Forestcraft 3 play points 2/3 with a fanfare effect that gains +1/+1 and ward if there are at least 3 neutral cards in your hand. In a neutral hybrid Forestcraft deck, this card is huge. If Grimnir is a good anti-aggro card, this one is a 3 play points 3/4 with ward, and that's huge. The success of this card will depend a lot on how good the neutral Forestcraft deck will be. Hero of Antiquity. The Swordcraft legendary, an 8 play points 6/10 with rush, that can't be destroyed by spells or effects, but can still be damaged by them. So the first comparison you can make with this card is of course Fangblade's Player, another 8 play points rush, and I would argue that this card is better than him in pretty much every deck that is not phase oriented. Not having Bane is not too much of a deal when you have 6 attack, and having 10 defense and an immunity to destroy effects makes this card pretty hard to remove. Good card. And speaking of good cards, Cinderella. A 3 play points 4/4 commander, and whenever another allied Swordcraft follower comes into play, you return this follower to your hand. So this is a 3 play points 4/4 with a negative effect that doesn't happen all the times, especially if you play an hybrid deck. In fact, in a neutral focus Swordcraft, this puts a ton of pressure on turn 3, and it's able to trade for the opponent's 3-drop and most of 4-drops. It is worth considering running this into a super cannon deck too. Maisie, Red Riding Hood. It's a 2 play points 2/2 with an evolve effect that destroys an enemy follower if you have a neutral follower in play. This card is amazing in a neutral hybrid deck. You can play it alongside with another neutral follower to evolve it and destroy 2 followers, one by effect and one by attack, and gain a pretty good board control. Cool card. Young Ogre Hunter Momo. 3 play points 2/2 with rush, and a clash effect that gives this card Bane if it battles with a follower with at least 5 attack. I don't have much faith in this card. It's surely a pretty nice arena card, but if it battles a 5 attack follower, it's just like a Giant Slayer, a card that no one uses ever. And if it doesn't, it's a 3 play points 2/2 rush, which is strictly worse than Novice Trooper, so I don't think it will see play. Kiss of the Princess, a Swordcraft spell that gives a neutral follower +2/+4, and then change that follower into a Swordcraft commander. I really like this card. If you play this when going first, you play it on say a 2/2, and you get to make a free trade on the opponent, and still keep like a 4/4, 4/5, and that will put a ton of pressure on the board. So yeah, cool card. When going second, it's a bit less effective, but I don't think this card will ever be dead in your hand, so we need to see how good the neutral hybrid Swordcraft deck will be. Wizard Race of Oz. 5 play points 4/5 Runecraft legendary with a fanfare effect that makes you draw cards until you have 5 in your hand, and then you change the cost of the spells with no spell boost to 1. It also has a last word effect that at the start of your next turn you banish all your spells in your hand. So in my opinion this card can see play in several decks. You can rather play it in a deck filled with the non-spell boost spells, and you can gain huge tempo during the turn that you play this card, or you can put it into a deck with a ton of followers or cheap followers, like, I don't know, a Daria Runecraft or an Aggro Runecraft, and you can just use it for the card draw. Amazing card in my opinion. Abomination Awakened, a 3 points 6/6 Runecraft legendary that can't attack. It has an effect that if the number of cards in your hand increases to 9 during your turn, you can evolve this follower, and then it deals 3 damage to all enemy followers. And of course it can attack. So how easy is it to pull off this effect? I don't think it's too hard, considering how much card draw Runecraft have. And it's not going to be easy to remove this follower to prevent the effect from activating, because even now unevolved, it's still a 3 points 6/6. Of course, the evolve effect is absolutely insane, but the problem with this card is that I don't know in what deck it could see play. So we're going to need to see how the Runecraft class will evolve in the next expansion. Mysterian Grimoire. A 3 points 1/4 with a fanfare effect that draws you 2 cards, and at the end of your turn you discard all your spells. I can see this card being played in a deck with like almost no spells to refill your hand, but it's such a low tempo play, so I don't know. We'll have to see. It's an Earth Sigil that deals 2 damage to an enemy follower and then restores 2 defense to your leader. So of course the first card you can compare these two is Price of Magic, but instead of banishing a follower you gain 2 health back. And that can be better against most aggro decks except for Shadowcraft. So yeah, maybe it's a good anti-aggro tool for Earthright decks. Apprentice Sword Mage. It's a 4 points 3/4 that gains +1/+1 if the number of neutral cards in your hand exceeds or is equal to the number of Runecraft cards in your hand. And I'm not too convinced about this card. I mean, in the best case scenario, it's just a 4 play points for 5 with no effect, so boring card. Carbuncle of Mysteria, a 2 play points 2/1 with a last word effect that spell boosts the cards in your hand by 1. And you can compare these to like Conjure Golem. They're both 2 play points, they both spell boost your hand by 1, but Conjure Golem is a bit better because it summons at 2/2. That being said, you can still play both. Like, you can play 3 copies of Conjure Golem and 3 copies of Carbuncle if you really want to spell boost a lot, so I'm not counting this card out yet. Wind God of the Skies. The Dragoncraft legendary, a 9 play points 5/6, with a last word effect that during your next turn, you double the attack and defense of each allied follower that comes into play. Playing a 9 drop should be easy for the Dragoncraft class. You can like compare this to Leonidas, but this is much easier to summon because Dragoncraft gets to turn 9 much faster. And the effect is absolutely insane, because you can just summon like a 10-2 Forte or a 14-16 Genesis Dragon. So if the meta is going to be slow enough, I have a lot of faith in this card. Tilting at Windmills. Whenever you play a neutral follower, give it Storm and destroy it at the end of the turn. This card is a bit hard to pull off. You're completely wasting your turn 7, and if you can't end the turn right after, like on turn 8, you're just lost the game. So I don't think this card is too good. Red Rage Wyrm, a 3 play points 0/5 that evolves into a 10/10, and when it evolves, you destroy it at the end of the turn. Cool concept, but I don't think this card is too good. 0/5 is easy to remove, and if you evolve it right away, you just get a 1-for-1 trade at the expense of an evolution point. We'll see. I don't think this card is too good. Hippogriff Rider, 5 play points 2/4 with Storm, and whenever another allied follower attacks, it gains +1 attack. This card is okay to push for more damage in some aggro Dragoncraft decks, especially since it comes right before Forte. It is very good when you already have board control, and yeah, I can see this card being played in face Dragoncraft. We'll just have to see how good that deck will be. Elder Tortoise, 4 play points 2/4 with a fanfare effect that recovers you an evolution point if Overflow is active. Good card, but I believe Dragoncraft have way too many good 4-drops for this card to see play. Dragon Summoner, 2 play points 1/2 with a fanfare effect that puts a random Dragoncraft follower from your deck into your hand. I love this follower. It can be at 2 play points 1-2 with a draw a card effect, or it can draw you a specific card if played in like a neutral deck with just one Dragoncraft follower in it. Sure, the neutral Dragoncraft deck didn't get too much this expansion, but who knows, maybe in the future. Dark Alice, a 7 play points 5-5 with a last word effect that banishes all allied Shadowcraft cards in play and then summon a Dark Alice. At the end of the turn, you banish all Shadowcraft cards in your hand and your deck. So, in a neutral deck this is a better Mordecai, since it comes one turn before. And the banish all Shadowcraft cards in your deck is meant to be a bad thing, but sometimes it can be good, because if you play this in a deck with a bunch of Shadowcraft cards for the early game, and then you just banish all of them, you only get the late game neutrals, and that can be a good thing, so interesting card. Corpse Lord of Wui, a 4 play points 4/4 that can't attack, and at the start of your turn you use Necromancy 6 to evolve this follower. When it's evolved, it can attack and it gains last word effect that summons another self. Haha, nice joke. Dead Morrows, a 5 play point 5/7 with a fanfare effect that destroys all allied Shadowcraft followers and restores X defense to your leader, with X that equals the number of Shadowcraft followers destroyed by this effect. So of course you don't play this for the heal, but mostly because it has such a huge body. Like the regular 5-drop is a 4/5, this is a 5/7, and of course you can play this as an activator for cards like Lurching Corpse or Attendant of Night. Nightmare Executioner, a 4 play points 0/3 with Bane and with a clash effect that draws you a card. So of course this card is meant for control, and it's a pretty cool one actually. Having Bane, it's like having infinite attack against followers, and since it's a 4-drop and you can evolve it right away, you can use the clash to draw, and this can trade for 2 cards, like one with the evolve effect, most likely it won't die because it has 5 defense, and then your opponent has to trade again, and you get a 2-for-1 trade and draw 2 cards. So I can see this card being played in a control Shadowcraft. Of course you won't be seeing this card in an aggro or mid-range. Caterpillar of Riddles, 4 play points 4/3 with a fanfare effect that gives all allied neutral followers +1/+1 and then damages all the allied Shadowcraft followers by 2. So at first I was like, wow, this is a worse Alice, but then I realized that this can be used as an activator for Attendant of Night or Lurching Corpse, so I guess it's okay in a hybrid deck. Usher of Styx, 2 play points 2/2 with Necromancy effect 6 that puts one of the highest cost followers that has been destroyed during this match into your hand. 6 Shadows is a bit hard to use, but the effect is okay in a control deck. In the worst case it's just a 2 play points 2/2, so it may see testing. Haunted House, a 1 play points amulet with a countdown of 3, and whenever an allied follower, excluding ghosts, is destroyed during your turn, you summon a ghost. So of course this is meant to take value from trades, but I think it's a bit too low on a power level to see play. Maybe in a deck with Prince Catacomb, but I don't have much faith in this card. Emeralda, Demonic Officer, a 7 play points 4/5 with a fanfare effect that destroys an enemy follower or amulet, and if Vengeance is active for you, you gain Storm. If Vengeance is active, this card is huge. If it's not, well, it's still a 4/5 with a execute effect attached to it. The execute effect is worth about 5 play points, and the 4/5 body is worth 5 play points too, so it's nice having both for 7. Bandersnatch, a 5 play points 4/5 with Rush, and an enhanced 7 effect that lets this card gain last words. At the end of your turn, put a follower that costs 6 play points from your deck into play. This card is good when played on curve, and even better when played for the enhance effect. It's like Bloodcraft's own White Wolf, but it's a bit more versatile in my opinion, because you can play this for 5 and it comes down on 7 instead of 8, even with enhance effect. So awesome card for Control Blood. Boy Who Cried Wolf, a 2 play points 3/1 that can't be attacked by followers with one attack. This card should be quite good in aggro decks, as it's stated very offensively. And having the little protection from 1-drops, it's kinda nice to have. Tove, a 2 play points 3/3 that can't attack, and whenever you summon a neutral follower, it can attack and rush. Since this is the only neutral hybrid card Bloodcraft have, I don't think this card will see much play, but the follower itself is not bad. Lion of the Golden City, Havencraft Legendary. A 7 play points 5/5 with a Fanfare effect that puts an amulet that costs 5 play points or less from your hand into play, and then you destroy that amulet. Whenever an allied neutral follower comes into play, subtract 1 from the cost of this card. In a neutral hybrid deck, this card can be a huge tempo play, but even in regular Havencraft, I don't think this card is too bad. Like, being able to destroy instantly any amulet can lead to some nice turns, such as you play this with a Death Sentence, and you get a 7 play points 5/5 and destroy 2 enemy followers. So yeah, this card is okay, and it will get better in time as new amulets are released. Princess Snow White, a 2 play points 1/2 with a last word effect that summons another self and you evolve it, and then the evolved version loses effects. And wow, this card is amazing. A 2 play points sticky follower that when it dies it gains a 3 play points worth of stats, becoming a 2/3 that can attack immediately because it will have rush from the evolution. Love it. Alice Adventure, a 2 play points amulet, and whenever an allied neutral follower comes into play, you subtract 1 from the countdown of all amulets. I think this card is a bit too slow. I can't imagine a world in which this is a good card, so don't have much faith in it. Haiti, a 6 play points 3/7 with a Fanfare effect that gains Rush and Bane if an enemy evolved follower is in play. The effect should be easy to pull off, especially when played on curve, because your opponent will most likely still have an evolved follower, and this can be a good card, but I think Havencraft have way too many good 6 cost cards if it was a 2/3, but being a 3/2 it will just get traded by enemy 2-drops, so this card will not see play. Queen of the Dreadsea, a 10 play points neutral legendary 7/7 with a Fanfare effect that changes the cost of a neutral card, excluding another Queen of the Dreadsea, and a non-neutral card from your hand to 0. And then you discard all other cards in your hand. So the best use I can think of is in Dragoncraft. You can just change to 0 the cost of a Genesis Dragon and a Nerd, and you can storm the opponent's face for 14. Or you can just gain huge board control because you will have a 7/7 and a 7/9 and a 3/3. So cool card. I think this will see some play. Into the Looking Glass, a 2 play points neutral spell that draws you a card and changes all cards in your hand and in play that cost 7 or less into neutral cards. Cool card. I don't know how useful it will be. I think it's a bit slow, but at least it cycles itself. Really hard to judge. Explosion, 7 play point spell that deals 3 damage to all followers. Yeah, this is the meme card of the set, and it's a pretty hilarious one. Ephemera, Angelic Slacker, a 4 play points 1/3 with ambush, and whenever another allied follower attacks, it gains +1 attack until the end of the turn. This is a weird card. The effect is very good in aggro decks, but this is a bit too slow for aggro decks, so I don't know. And last we have Angelic Knight, 3 play points 2/2 with ward and a Fanfare effect that gives +1/+0 to an allied follower. Decent 3-drop for neutral decks, but I still think that Angel of the Ward and Gourmet Emperor Kaiser are a bit better, so don't know if it will see play. And this will be it for this video. I won't be releasing a video next week because I'm a bit busy with exams, but I will make it up by posting a full set review in about 2 weeks. So look forward for that, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.